Quick thinking and magic save the boat as Devan quickly patches the hole in the keel. Unfortunately, the patch is temporary and requires Devan's continual concentration. Fortunately, they spot some deer which could provide materials for a better plug, and so Devan goes hunting. The hunt is tedious, but ultimately successful, and they manage a decent patch, allowing Devan to get some much-needed rest, and soon they arrive at their destination safely. During the journey from the fishing village back to Necrot, Devan stumbles upon a giant burrow, finding it smouldering, and the bodies of giants within. Further exploration leads him to discover the sole survivor, a young giant, who informs him the slaughter was the work of Gretchen, Devan's old nemesis. Devan decides to adopt the young giant, who is named Kronos. They finally get to Necrot, and while Heifer and Kronos settle in, Devan decides to go Cyclops hunting, but first he consults Atropos for guidance. She gives him advice, and with the aid of the vapors, Devan finds his way to the lair of Gretchen the Cyclops. She has undergone quite the transformation into a monstrous muscular giant, hungry for man-flesh and vengeance. The empowered Gretchen is more than a match for Devan, despite flinging fireballs her way, and so he uses a potion to turn into mist and escape back to Necrot. How will Devan slay the Cyclops? Will Kronos be a good apprentice? When will the economy be established? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Hello again. I'm doing well. Good to be back in slightly lower resolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's like I got a makeover.
It hides our flaws, you know? A little bit more honest. Or not honest, a little bit more flattering. Something like that.
Something like that.
So,
shall we jump right in?
Yes, let's jump right in. Where last we left, there was a Cyclops. There was a rainy night. There was a battle. And the two of you, both badly wounded, went your separate ways.
Yes, and I guess we'll pick up Devan crouched under some makeshift shelter.
Mm-hmm.
A small bush or a cave. I don't remember how we described it. And waiting off the end of the gaseous form spell.
Yes. Eventually, the spell will fade, and you will materialize.
And I will set out a tea party for myself. And begin quaffing some teacups of healing. Distilled troll's blood, or whatever Atropos mixed in with these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I can gain 2d4 plus 2 HP.
Per potion.
Yeah. I'll sit down, rest, and probably drink both potions, actually. So that will bring me to 18. And the second one, 7 and 7. Bring me to 25.
At a 32.5.
Not bad at all. But
Down
I do need MP.
7. Oh, yeah, you need MP. You can't just walk back into the cave now.
Alas. And I think I'm actually going to force march back.
In the night, in the rain, in the storm, you're going to hike 10 miles through the rugged terrain?
Yeah. These are my hills. I have keen eyesight, and I do have enough MP to bust out a light spell if I think I need it. However, I feel like with dark vision, I should be fine.
Let's see. Oh, they get all gross.
Do you have a roll an ankle check or something like that?
Well, I wanted to see how close we were to the full moon, and we are the day before the full moon. So, well, I mean, it is raining and storming. Yeah, can you give me some sort of don't break your ankle, hike all night check?
So typically I would have, so the typical force march rules are to roll a con check at the end.
Right. But this is not your typical force march, right? This is a
Walking through the
especially
night.
difficult, brutal force march because it's not just night, but it's also bad hills, and then it's also raining. So you're gonna have limited vision. The ground is gonna be wet and slippery. It's just gonna be a lot more difficult than if it were dry, flat ground. You know.
Okay, so go ahead. So what would you like? Like a dexterity check or something?
No. Is it just like maybe the will to keep marching? Is it the strength to hold up and like to keep pushing yourself forward because you're going to be losing a lot of ground or falling over a lot and you need to is being tested here? Is it your balance, your strength, your endurance, your sheer will?
I don't know what the alternative is. Right? There's a Cyclops at my back. Like, do I just lay down and die? I feel like the will, like, it almost seems like a, yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, but if you just need to get away from the Cyclops, you could only go a mile. But you're trying to go like 10 miles. So,
yeah.
I think it's got to be like a physical test here. Just give me a second con check, or the first con check will be to see if you can force your way through. Yeah, and then the second would be for the force march. That seems fair.
Okay.
Devon
is young and hardy. I think I only go 1 hex to Atropos first, but I may go all the way to Necrot.
Well, you can get to Atropos, all right.
And I will, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the storm, I will crawl up the steps to her cave.
Yes. You find her in her cave with her new assistant, who is laid out.
Assistant.
Yeah, there was that woman that was here a while ago. The young woman is laid out on the ground, face down, her back shirtless and bare, and Atropos is stacking some stones on her back in key places. An old ritual.
She awake? Are they both
Atropos
awake?
is awake. The other woman is awake. Yes, this is an old ritual that she has done with you when you were a younger apprentice. The idea is to align your chakras to the world in some mystical way. But it also is accompanied by, a great many long finger strokes across the back that send shivers up your spine.
Would interrupting this ritual disrupt the chakras?
No, as long as the girl stays lying down properly and the stones don't move.
And I think with the storm, Devon pulls himself up the last couple of feet into the cave and steps inside and sort of pauses and looks at the scene, remembers himself in that position on the ground, covered in stones.
The lecherous old crone does not take notice of your arrival, or does not make note of it. She just continues with the gentle placing of stone on stone or stone on flesh, followed by these long, gentle, creepy strokes.
Yeah, I've been slogging through the storm and the mud, so I don't mind being ignored for a moment as I kneel down to catch my breath. How big is her cave?
20-foot diameter.
Okay, so it's pretty small. It's not like I can find a private little nook to settle in.
Right.
So I'll catch my breath for a few moments, and I'll look around and see if see what supplies she has here. See if she still has leftover troll blood, and perhaps recall what she did last time to make those potions of healing. Oops, I did not mean to roll that d4, but you can take it as you will.
The
Evens.
One of her shelves in the cave still has a few potions stacked on it, remnants from what was left over. They probably are more troll blood healing potions.
So I think she gave me the first two. Maybe these are what she made after I left or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I will approach and look at them and like begin investigating them. If Atropos is ignoring me, I begin like rifling through the stuff and these potions. And yeah.
She is ignoring you. She's also a prophetic woman who sees the future and has probably already predicted your return. And if she's leaving you alone while you're meddling with the potions, it's probably meant to be, right?
Yeah.
You can read the future.
Indeed. Are these in like jars and vials that I bring her enough? Could she had her own or something?
They are similar, like clay cups with some sort of linen spread across, mixed with beeswax to keep it as a airtight seal.
I will inspect the potions and see if there's a way I can mundanely identify them. I don't want to burn spells, but if I could use my spellcraft or my arcanology to like recall the last potions that I just drank, and so I guess first try to identify them by sight and smell.
Yeah.
And then maybe like take a sip to make sure they're what I think they are. But I'll start with just sight and waft.
Yeah, why don't you give me a wisdom check?
Rather than spellcraft, or I mean, it's all pretty comparable. But
yeah, I guess you could do.
I guess I fail either way.
Yeah.
So am I unsure that they're the same? They're in a different container, and
they're just like well made, so there's nothing leaking out the sides, and with the airtight seal on top, there's not much scent coming out of them. So it's just there's no contextual clues lying around to help indicate what they might be. Other than the fact that she just recently made a batch of healing potions, and these are likely to be they.
And then I think from here, despite my better judgment, I will do a taste test.
Yeah, you can crack the lid of one of them.
Crack one open and
take a little sip.
Drop on my tongue, see if it tastes the same.
Yes,
save versus death or die.
It's that like viscous, silky iron flavor with like some effervescence to it that like bubbles around your taste buds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a healing potion, all right.
It's the same thing that I had last time. How many does she have on her shelves?
I guess 4.
I will look over and see if she's still preoccupied.
She is currently preoccupied. She's now resting her cheek on the small of the young woman's back while the stones rest on the upper back, moving her head up and down with the breaths being taken. Her head is looking away from you, but she seems to be able to sense you and calls out, "Leave one behind. There's a man in your village who will need it soon."
I was planning on leaving 2, but with her blessing, I'll leave just the one. Take 3 and depart with barely a word.
Yep. Barely a word said. The young woman has said nothing at all. And you can head back down and out. You headed to Necrot?
Yes, I will head home. And I think with my checks, I should be able to go the rest of the way.
Yes.
Typically, I can do two hexes.
I think you will arrive back in Necrot later, probably that morning, somewhere near sunup.
I will quaff another healing potion at some point, probably like as I'm getting fatigued on the journey. For a little bit of a pick-me-up. 777. That will bring me to full. It's probably more than I needed, but and I will head straight home to bed rest and intense study to like power through as much MP gaining as I can.
By the time you wake up, it is early morning.
Early evening. I got home. I pulled an all-nighter and got back early morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say that maybe you sleep the whole next day, but maybe not. Maybe you wake
I think
up.
one all-nighter usually just like sleep into the afternoon, right?
Yeah. All right. So if you go to bed around 7, you wake up maybe 10, 12 hours later, somewhere around 6, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The storm has blown itself out by the time you awaken. You can hear movement in the town. A deep, giant voice talking to a man about the Quanot.
So I returned and did not find Heifer holed up in my house.
If you were looking about, you probably found Heifer off to the side, not in your bed.
I mean, was he staying there, or did he find separate accommodation?
No, he's still staying in your house when you went to bed, but when you wake up, he's gone.
Well, other way, I probably show up as he's waking up, and
I guess that's true. Yeah, you probably stumble in as he's waking up, pass out before he gets a chance to say anything to you, and then here we are.
And I would like to just study, shut out the outside world, and get some quality sleep with study.
Yeah, you can do your study.
And so it's probably, I wake up in the evening, I study until midnight or so, and then fall back asleep and regain MP.
You'll notice that Heifer does not return this evening as you go to study, or as you are studying.
That is fine. Study can be interrupted somewhat, right? It's identified that gets screwed up. Let me go ahead and read how you described. Because there was something about like well-meaning colleague or well-meaning companions interrupting.
Right.
The state is easily interrupted by good-intentioned traveling companions who may wish to ask a question, and interrupted study is reduced to rest.
So clearly, if someone like knocks on your door and you shout, "Go away," it's fine. But if your buddies come in and then they're like, "Hey, we need to talk for 30 minutes about this thing," or
that seems somewhat. I mean, I guess this is magic and these are wizards. I'm thinking like real life. If you're studying, you need to take breaks, right?
Yes.
It's not like you study for 16 hours straight and then go to sleep. It's like if you're lucky, you study for 45 minutes, take a break. 45 minutes, take a break. Even like take a long lunch break and go do something else. But anyways, these are wizards, not scholars.
And it's derived more from an intent to make wizards have to be reclusive and
I like it. Yeah, so I shut myself in. Maybe Heifer doesn't come back because in a state I told him to fuck off and he went and found somewhere else to go. But
the rumors that he's heard from the townspeople of Devon the Divine and his sort of crankiness of being interrupted has led him to find some other accommodations for the evening. The other people in the town are aware of your habits and inform the newcomer.
Oh. There's also wizards who fail to get an appreciable sleep must make a con check at sunrise or lose MP. I've made 2 con checks on that journey. I feel like a third seems excessive.
Yeah,
and I kind of made it back to sleep around sunrise, so I don't know if it's necessary, but
no, it's not
that
necessary.
Seems precise. Last night seems like precisely the situation that may result in a loss of con or a loss
Absolutely.
of MP.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that rule. I love that rule. Anyway. You rest the night, or you study the evening, and go to bed. You can go ahead and make me some study checks.
So that would be R4, D13, D2. 22 MP will bring me to 28 out of 45. What is the situation with armor spells? Am I able to emerge and find some snake skin regurgitated at Platos's altar? Or is this such thing not automated? Right, we had in the past pay or
Had the
convince
children run
children
around to do it.
to bring snakes. So I guess, is there a chance that a snake had been brought to Platos? And I can find the remains around his. So I guess that next dawn, I will go and like tidy his shrine, and see if I happen to find some blessed snake remains.
You go to tidy the shrine, and sure enough, there are a couple of remains here and there, but none of them are the snake ones that you would so desire. But if you're going to study today, you can go yell at some kids to find you a snake.
Yeah, I will see some kids in the town square and say, "Hey kids, can you go catch a snake for our patron Platos?"
They will immediately comply. This is one of their favorite games now. Go find a snake to feed to the snake.
And as I'm tidying Platos' shrine, I assume I see him.
Yes,
What is he looking like these days?
He's a little plump. You know, he's a little bit rounder than he used to be. He's kind of got this like lazy look in his eyes, like he's overfed and enjoying life. He'll hiss at you a little bit.
Yeah, I will more or less ignore. I'll say you're looking healthy.
Yes.
And I will. I will
me.
not. They love me. I won't make it too apparent that I'm rooting around his stuff for my own selfish reasons. I will feign that I am just cleaning his shrine. So I'll like get out a broom and like sweep it and take the remains and dispose of them. Send the kids to go fetch him a snake.
You'll notice the area outside the shrine is very well tended. The area on the inside, where within snapping distance of his jaws, is a little less tended.
So I'll be the one to like lift the roof off of his shrine. Is this still the same kind of shrine with like a detachable roof? And yeah, so I'll open it up and remove his droppings, clean up the inside.
How goes your journey, Devon?
I am home studying and resting. A brief respite in the midst of a battle with the Cyclops. Grendel has grown deformed, mutated by the spirit of vengeance that has overtaken her.
And you will oppose her? Get justice for the dead?
I nod. And vengeance for the dead. Grendel has twisted Velthar's rage for her own purposes. But it has made her strong. She ate 2 fireballs.
Ooh. Spicy giant.
Do I see Kronos nearby?
You can hear his bellowing voice coming out from the Quanot, where he's working with Akitos.
I will approach the Quanot then.
Yeah, you can see it is flowing steadily and much more strongly than it was in the past. Maybe it's just last night's rain, but the flow rate has doubled since the early days.
I will approach. Is Kronos in some sort of disagreement with Akitos?
No, he's on his hands and knees loading a wheelbarrow full of dirt that he then picks up and like walks out of the cave and crawls out, sort of walks a few feet away and will dump the pile of earth before seeing you and go, "Hey, Devon."
Kronos. Good to see you pulling your weight. I turn to Akitos and I say, I may need to borrow your apprentice on the morrow.
Aki just wipes the sweat from his brow and says, by all means. Him here, the work is much easier. We can just dig, and he'll haul all the earth out. Please.
Kronos, I have found the wicked Grendel. She is perhaps a day's northeast of here. I am in the midst of a great battle with her, but I thought when battle is rejoined tomorrow, you may wish to accompany me. Take your vengeance.
The giant child trembles a little bit at the thought. Oh, she's really big.
As are you.
Considers. Yeah.
You, I may be able to do this alone, but I thought that it would only be right to offer you at least the opportunity to witness.
Give him a willpower check. Oh, natural 20. He's on board. He's going to come and at least watch her get blown up. Murderer of his family that she is. He's ready to see the end of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have many good buff spells. I guess I can cast Spirit Armor on him. And yeah, I will be preparing today, but tomorrow morning we should set out. Be sure to rest up, maybe take the afternoon off, and yeah, I'll bid Kronos and Akitos farewell and retreat to my study again for the day.
Okay. You can retreat to your study and roll me another full-fledged study check.
Yeah, I probably don't even need it. I'm wondering if if these morning errands count against it, but I think even the first two are more than enough. I only am short 17. So I'll be at full MP. I would like to recast armor if by the next morning Platos has regurgitated a snake.
Absolutely. The children will bring him a snake in the afternoon, and you'll find in the morning the wasted remains of it.
So I will recast my armor spell. Arrange touch one creature. I guess the giant child probably already has better AC than this.
AC 15. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 8 plus 1 per level is 13. What is this 18 over here? I don't even know. Too many. Oh no, that's my MP. 18. Is that meant to be my AC?
What?
I don't think it's that useful. I'll use it to keep track of my armor HP.
Oh,
right.
The red box you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to find a spare water skin and fill it up with troll blood from the fountain.
Okay.
To bring to Atropos on our way north.
Yes. The still beating troll heart inside the spiked cage that constantly bleeds into the bowl below, who never quite overflows with blood.
Yeah. Remember there's a what's his name? Romulus's helm is atop the troll heart, and it sort of blood drips from the eye and the whatever the mouth slots in the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And Romulus cries tears of blood into the fountain.
Perpetually.
And I will fetch Kronos and see if he is ready.
Kronos is indeed ready upon this next day.
Does he have a weapon?
Got a stick. Picks up off the ground.
Perfect.
Night is the night. Yesterday was the full moon. Today is the December 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Day after the full moon. Okay. Off to Grendel's lair once more.
Yeah, I will stop by Atropos and leave her a water skin of troll blood.
Her assistant is there, and she will take the troll blood from you as
if I find. Yeah, it's even better if I can find her outside or something, or see her at the entrance and not even need to bother climbing. Just.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She's outside at the bottom, clearing out some spots from fallen rocks from the storm. They'll give you a polite curtsy and take the stuff from you.
Blood of the Romulans for Atropos.
She curtsies and says, her graciousness thanks you. See that she has fully consumed the Kool-Aid and is a loyal servant of Atropos.
What's her name? Do I even... Oh, I guess I'll ask her. Thank you. Remind me your name again? Okay, you don't need to tell me. That's fine. Bum, bum, bum. Neal's not muted. He's just silent. Oh, you are muted. Or are you... I hear static twitching, so I check your USB or something. Oh, it jumped back, but... You're back.
Mic test. Hello, hello. There we go. Her name is Hera. Found it in my notes.
Of course it is.
My name is Hera, she says.
Hera?
Yes.
Oh, God. Well, Hera, I'm glad to see you are settling into our community. Fairly well. And myself and Kronos will head northeast. I think by the end of the day, we should reach... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, she watches you and the giant disappear over the hills. That's all.
Yeah. And by the end of the day, unless we have some other encounters, we should reach Grendel's lair once more.
No encounters on this day. So you will come over the hills and find that familiar place where you battled the giant before. You can see the tall cliff that serves as the entryway to her cave, still blackened and charred by the firebolt blasts, but also, run down the side with long streaks of ash. There are huge muddy footprints out front where the battle once was. You can see skid marks and slides where the giant struggled under the weight of her injuries. And you can hear the distant sound of baying creatures and a trickle of smoke that leads from the tall crevice that is her lair.
That is the Cyclops' cave. Grendel, Kinslayer.
What do we do?
Wreak vengeance. I will purge her with fire. But first, I suppose we should pray. Call upon the spirits of your ancestors. Although they'll actually be water spirits. But same.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the finger of one of his parents, that would make a nice spell component. But I don't. I've just got water.
Okay.
And if he gets caught in a fireball, that may actually come in handy. And I will cast the spirit armor on Kronos as we are approaching.
Alright.
A 3rd level spell requires 12 MP. Since we're using the MP system, I don't really mind suboptimal spells.
Mm-hmm.
But it was brought to my attention that the spirit armor, while the flavor is slightly different, it's mechanically pretty similar to a mirror image spell, but not as good. And mirror image is a 2nd level spell.
Ooh.
So this might be arcane spray all over again.
Mirror image gives you multiple things that you just roll against, right? And spirit armor is a save or attack something. Okay. Those are fairly similar, but then spirit armor also raises your AC. No,
it doesn't. Spirit armor, the creatures have AC, and I think mirror image they only take 1
HP, right? And with mirror image, it's any hit will kill it.
Yeah, I feel like spirit armor just maybe doesn't have enough HP. I mean, because mirror image, it's 1 hit will kill it, but you get like 3 or something like that, or depending on level.
Right, it's D4.
Whereas spirit armor versus powerful enemies, it only eats 1 hit. Right, like the Cyclops 1 hit kills the spirit armor, whereas mirror image versus a high level creature would give you multiple attacks. Would eat multiple attacks.
Interesting. Well, during a break or after the session, I'll take a look at this.
Totally unnecessary for this campaign, I think. But for future balance, you may want to consider maybe downgrading it to a 2nd level spell or buffing it to make it warrant a 3rd level spell slot. I think with the MP system, it's kind of like, I'm so OP, it's probably better to have a bunch of suboptimal spells, but
I'll look at it. Yeah.
And actually maybe in a slotted system, here we are philosophizing on the eve of battle. It was pointed out by someone, maybe it was Old Mighty, that a slotted system actually makes sense to have suboptimal spells. So for example, a 2nd level spell slot is not as valuable as a 3rd level spell slot. 2nd level spells are mostly utility spells. There's not really that many great 2nd level spells.
Mm-hmm.
So like having a 2nd level arcane spray is not really that big of a deal if you're forced to take 2 or 3 2nd level spells and there's not really that many useful ones. But with an MP system, when like that arcane spray could be like 2 or 3 magic missiles, it feels kind of stupid.
Interesting.
I guess you can't mirror image other creatures. That's a good point.
And spirit armor is,
Maybe spirit armor could be AoE. But then it's still only, my concern is that it doesn't, like versus a powerful attack, it only eats 1. Maybe you can summon multiple spirits as it gets higher level. Although it's still, or maybe just make the HP scale faster. Maybe make it immune to physical damage. I don't know. Anyways, we can brainstorm at a later time.
Yeah, it does seem like mirror image might be better against larger creatures and spirit armor might be better against weaker creatures. Because if you're fighting a horde of goblins and your spirits have AC 13, like they're going to be missed more frequently.
Yeah.
I think with mirror image, all you have to do is Like, you don't even have to roll to hit. As long as you target one of the images, you're going to hit it.
I think you would target the caster, and then there's like you roll to see what's hit, whether it's the caster or one of the images.
When an image is struck by a melee or missile attack, magic or otherwise, it disappears. Yeah. But, like, you'd only need to hit AC 10 against Mirror Image, and with Spirit Armor, it's what, AC 13? That's not actually
I think Mirror Image has
difference.
the caster's AC, which is for Devon is actually much better than Spirit Armor.
Yeah, I guess it would be 13 plus Dex and maybe Magic.
I think it's just a mirror image of the caster. I think it has caster's AC. Maybe you could retcon it, or not, like patch it to ignore armor because it's not real, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is actually very similar to Mirror Image. Oof. We'll figure it out. One of these days I'll get a good 3rd level spell for you that's not too broken.
Well, I've got Fireball.
Okay.
Hold person is cool. Your new hold person is cool, but in this setting, obtaining an enormous giant-sized mirror is just impossible.
Yeah.
It would be very cool to have a Cyclops in a mirror, but alas.
Well, there's the cave. You've got a giant at your back. You've got full mana, full HP. What are you gonna do?
It's been 2 days. She's probably still at close to half HP. What's the weather like? It's not raining anymore.
No, it's fair skies. The storm has wiped away the clouds, just a few spots on the horizon, but otherwise it is blue clouds and baking earth in the sun. Still a little bit damp, so it's not too hard, but give it a day or two and this place will be back to the parched surface it once was.
I will shout inside. Grendel! Are you in there?
Your voice echoes down the canyon, and after a few moments, stepping out into the sun, squeezing through the crevice, is a fully healed Cyclops, wearing a massive medallion of Velthara.
I have brought you, I brought someone who deserves vengeance for what you've done.
She gazes out.
I try to cover up my surprise at seeing her fully healed. Oh, I guess she's a cleric or something, but that probably means she's out of spell slots or something, which I guess she never used.
She sees the two of you and calls back, "Are you here to kill me or to offer me a sacrifice?"
You are the sacrifice, I say as I unleash a fireball.
All right. Why don't we roll for initiative on the other side of the break?
No initiative. Didn't I just blow her up by surprise?
We'll see you guys. You're ruining my cliffhanger. See you guys on the other side of the break.